What is going on, everyone? It is Mitch here, and today we are doing something that I've always wanted to teach myself how to do or learn how to do. That's welding, and we're going to be making a tire rack for our shed and potentially take out to the track. Let's see how we go. All right, so part of my job as a manual arts teacher at school and at work is that I teach obviously manual arts subjects, and previously I haven't had to actually teach any classes that involve welding. This year is different. I'll be teaching an engineering class which will involve welding, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to teach myself how to weld so these kids don't think I'm a complete numpty when I get into the class. So I went and got myself a little welder. It's perfect for what we want to do. And we're going to build ourselves a tire rack to store tires on and a few other things at home. This is where we're at right now. So here's where we're at the moment. I did pick up this steel from school. It was some shelving that was already painted, and I thought it's a perfect opportunity to take that home, teach myself how to weld. They gave it to me. They had no use for it, so I said, I'll take it. So I loaded up the ute, brought it home, and I've got the rest of it over there, and then some still there. But we have our frame tacked up, ready to go. It is square. I've measured it corner to corner. It's exactly what I need, even down to the square here. Sits in there nice and perfectly. So I've got tacks in the corners, on all corners, and now it's just to tack the inside and then run the beads and glue it all together before we move on to starting to really build up our frame here. But this is going to be perfect. So once it's all done, I'll go through dimensions for you so you can see where we're at. But the first thing is just to weld out this frame so it's nice and sturdy, and then we can start building it up.
Driven by the allure, facing life head on, blowing fresh at the door. No limits, all in it, yeah, be ready to soar. Every step that I take, every move that I make, anticipating, no more waiting, elevating the stakes. Some fools.
Well, that frame is now welded out. To be honest, weld's pretty shit. Some of them are not too bad. Look, for a beginner welder, this is my first time real. I did one practice piece and then I hooked straight into this. And some of them are not too bad. Now they look like garbage because this is gasless MIG wire, flux core wire. So they look garbage, but once you clean them up, they should be okay. But have a look at some of them, tell me what you think. So like this is some of them are even worse. I'll show you the worst one, but like this would probably have to be my better one along there. And then you got all the corners. So I've gone corners all inside, and I'll just give them a grind back and clean them all up, paint it up. This one over here is probably the roughest one, only because there's a bit of a low spot and I had to actually fill that in a bit. I'll grind that back and see how they turn out. But I tell you what, like for my first time actually welding, I'm actually pretty proud of them, happy with them. Not too bad. So now it's just a matter of getting the grinding and the flap disc on them and tidying them up and see how they turn out. But should be pretty good. And just ground them down, and they're actually looking pretty good. The other ones on the other side are great. This one's got a bit of work I need to do, but they're all looking, actually, if I flip it over, it's not too hot. They're all looking pretty good. This one here is just a bit wonky. It's a bit low in that area. Might have to touch that up in a second. This one here in this corner too, it was low there because I had to patch a little hole. So I might just do a bit more there, but everything else is good apart from the insides. I'm going to put a different grinding disc on to the insides of the inside corners. Try and make those look pretty, but even the corners look good. So we'll might just touch up these little patches here and here, and give another grind, and then be ready to move on, I think. Oh, and then grind down the corners. We'll get onto that shortly.
Morning lights, new dawn, yeah, we ready for more. Breaking out newborns, driven by the allure. Facing life head on, blowing fresh at the door. No limits, all in it, yeah, we ready to soar. Every step that I take, every move that I make, anticipating, no more waiting, elevating.
Alright, we have the insides now just ground down sufficiently. To be honest, probably won't see those anyway. But I just want to, for peace of mind, just tidy them up. These are the ones we had to fix up, make a little bit higher, so we did that one and that one there. That's sorted. Now, what I'm going to do is, this does sit flat. I tested on the cement. This is actually a laser leveled cement floor, and it sits flat. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to I've got some casters over there. I'm going to weld the casters on, which could be a really good thing or not. Don't know yet, but I'm going to weld them on. And see how they go, and then we'll see how it rolls on the floor before we start building it up, because that way I know it's actually going to be flat sitting on the floor. And as the rain comes down, these are the actual casters I'm going to be using. So these, I think a pack of 4 is $12 from Bunnings. I think they're 40 kilo load capacity each. So which is great. So they'll just sit on the corner like so. And then I'll just just weld those out, put a few welds along there. I might even flip it over and do the bottom side as well. Obviously I have to grind that down, get the all that off, make a nice bonding area. Turn the welder down a little bit so it doesn't blow the actual steel apart. And what I could do is, once I put the tack weld on, I could actually fill in these holes around the corner too. So I might have to grind down that a little bit more so I can get good penetration, and then that'll be good. That'll be good to roll. So I'm going to mark out now exactly how far I need to weld, and grind some stuff off, and then start tacking those on. And these are now tacked into place. So I've got the two ones with the brakes on the same end. They're just lightly tacked in at the moment, and then I'll go through and just weld them up. But they actually sit nicely on the floor over there. There must be about 1 mil gap on one of them, just very, very slight, maybe warp in it. That's okay. It'll still roll. It's not real wobbly or anything, so you can still do everything you need to do. So now I'm just I'll just put a few more welds around the corners. I might flip it over and put some underneath. I don't really want to put some in the middle in there, only because if something happens to these and I want to change them, that means I'll have to cut it right back. So I might just put some around the edges, and then we'll get that done. That's awesome. So I'm really happy with the way this is shaping up at the moment. Let's do this now.
Mission life on my way, taking flight, here to say it's a plight when you play, feeling sight every day. I just had a plan of mine. I'm gonna move fear aside, on the mission to find so clear as I see the playing events running through my eyes. I rock the brick and I'm ready to grind. Underneath my skin, my soul aligned. The vision I see and I'm ready to climb. I'm an energy force on the path divine. I see the vibes all through the rain, and the gap just fuels the flame.
And slowly taking shape. I'm actually really stoked with how this is working out and turning out. Got the casters on. Let me show you now how they came out. And they're not meant to be fully welded out, because if I need to change them, I can just cut the little welds in on there. Alright, so here's what we've got. We've got our wheels on, casters, just do a weld on each 4 corners. And I just ground them down so they look somewhat nice and neat. Obviously you won't see them that much because they'll be on the ground, but once we've got the rest of the construction of this thing done, we're going to paint it and get it looking schmicko. But it rolls really well. It's pretty level, as level as I can be for my first time. Remembering I'm working on a bloody Triton workbench, not a welding table where I can actually clamp stuff down and make it nice and flat. But it'll do the job. So now we just have to flip it over and start building everything else out and see how we go. Back for a new day. Parked it up the other day because I just wanted to go inside. It's getting a bit hot. But we've got a frame where we're going now. It's just finishing it off, putting some rails in, getting everything situated how I want it, and then seeing if we can make this thing a bit of a rolling cart. So there's a few other things I want to do to try and make it all hunky-dory, but the frame is there. We've just got to put in the bars for the tyres to sit on and things like that. So I'll show you that now. Alright, so got my trusty little helper over there. He's been doing a fantastic job. Here's our frame. It's pretty good so far for my first welding job, so I'm pretty happy with it. Everything seems to be pretty square. Once I put in the bars across here for the tyres to sit on, that'll pull the sidebars in fractionally that they need to be, only because they are they've just been one side's been tack welded on it. I made the mistake of getting really excited and pretty much welding a lot of the stuff in, but the 2 sides down there and down there are tack welded, whereas all the other beams, like the actual frames up here, they've been welded and ground back. So I've just got to do the insides because they're pretty ugly. So sides are tack welded in. Now I've just got to tack weld everything else in for where I want it, and then go from there. For the next step is going to put a bar in here, and then the 2 rails won't sit on this side. They'll sit further in along there. So we'll get those tacked in now, and then we'll do this side and then do the bars across. And here we are. We've got a bit more done to it, but in the someone left a comment on my previous video, less yap you'll be able to clean up. So less yap this time and I'll be able to build some more stuff. So I've just been building, and this is where we're at now. Alright, so here is, I guess, halfway done of our tyre rack now. We've got obviously the frame, and then this part here I've just had to weld up. There was a few cuts from when I was cutting things apart from the old shelving frame that this came out of. So then I'll grind that back, and then I'm going to paint the entire thing anyway. So I might even go around and patch up all these little holes as well, make that look a bit nicer. But tyres will sit in there nicely, and underneath I'll put a floor on it, fuel jugs. There might even be space to put like a tote of some sort. I've got spare ones sitting around for spare things like uprights, or just spare space to clean up essentially. So yeah, fuel jugs will go in there. Might even put my jack and the jack stands in there just to get those up off the floor. But so far this thing's coming up really, really nicely. So just got these bars tacked in here at the moment, and Yeah, like I mentioned previously, we're just using gasless or flux core wire. That's why you get all this extra stuff around here. So got those tacked in, they're nice and strong. Because when I welded it, there's a bit of a warp in the frame. I might have to take one of the casters off and put a bit of a packer underneath, like a 3mm packer, and that'll straighten it out and wheel nicely. But other than that, this thing's looking really, really good and light. It's easy to move around with one hand. I'm sure it'll be different with tyres and stuff on it, but I'm really happy with the progress of this thing. For my first welding project, this thing is it's come up really, really well. So I'm stoked. All right, another day starting out on this little project. It's taken a while because I've got kids and we've got stuff we need to do. So here's where we're at now. I've welded it all out. Are the welds perfect? No, it's my first time doing it. There are some pretty good welds. There are some pretty crap ones too. So it takes practice, but I'm happy it's really, really sturdy. I'll show you now. I've already put a coating over the welds, some etch primer, just to hold it in. According to Zach at Bunnings, the local hardware store, he said this is the duck's nut, so give it a go. But I'll show you now. And here we are. It's there are some pretty dodgy welds on it. The sides look alright, like down here. It's not too bad. I really wanted to make these nice and strong, so I put a bit of extra welding around there. But look, at the end of the day, it's going to get knocked around, beaten around, and stuff like that. All these little marks along here are holes or gouges that I filled in. So just got to probably put one more brace in across the middle, and then it'll be done. So that'll be awesome. So we'll just knock that out now, and then we can paint those welds, and then get this thing ready to really be painted. Give it a wipe down and paint it up nicely. All right, so it's been a couple of days now. We have finished our tyre rack. It's just here behind me. I'll show you what I've done to it before we start stacking tyres on it. But I'm stoked, absolutely stoked how this thing came out. And I'll show you now and the plans for it and how the tyres actually fit on this thing. So this is it here. This is our tyre rack now. It's actually fairly level. Some of the floor is not, so it wobbles a little bit. But when you put it on a level floor, it's absolutely perfect. I put a base on now. This is the same material I used when I was building our airbox. And I had some stuff sitting over in the corner. So instead of going to buy new stuff, I use this. And you'll notice that little piece there. Not going to lie, I made a mistake when I was cutting it out. But I'll just leave that the way it is. So that's all screwed down. It's pretty firm. It'll take a bit of weight, which is awesome. They're just screwed in. And then the tyres sit up here. So I painted this in an epoxy enamel, some white knight epoxy enamel. The entire frame's got 2 coats of epoxy enamel, black gloss epoxy enamel on it. And the areas that are going to get the most wear, which you'll see some marks here, where the tyre's been sitting, they got 3 coats. And it is pretty hard wearing. So I don't mind getting a few scratches on it because it is going to get knocked around a fair bit. But this thing moves around easily. Stoked with how it turned out. So now we can actually get the tyres on it, get it in position, and then start working out everything else in this shed. I have done a bit of a cleanup. Just got some stuff to go through here and some stuff over there, but everything else is fine. And then beyond those Milwaukee toolboxes right there is a bunch of space where this trolley is going to go. So let's put these tyres on it now and get it on this tyre trolley, and then we'll see how it looks. All right.
Cause all the riches and fame never came at all. Everything that they say is a game, you know. There ain't nobody to blame, let the
Make
world
these all nice and neat.
all the riches and fame, I don't care anymore. Cause all the riches and fame never came at all. Everything that they say is a game, you know. There ain't nobody to blame, let the world explode. Step inside of my vibe, keep your head low. Don't subscribe, I decide to instead to.
So I want to try and keep these things covered up as much as possible, because these will be some race tyres for Bathursts. I've got a plastic, they're wrapped in plastic, ready to go. Keep the chemicals in the tyres. Keep them nice and dark. We'll put these two. Do have to get a couple more tyre covers. These will be practice tyres. Done. And then these will be on the car going down there. Same with those ones, and then we've got another two coming. Will be race tyres. So now we just have to get this in position. There we have it. We've got our tyre trolley all set up. So, like I said before, these four here are four of our race tyres. These two here, and then those two down there will be practice tyres. These ones will be on the car travelling down there. These four will not. I've still got to get another two for those ones. And then we've got a bunch of space down below, down here, where we can stack up stuff like we've got our turn plates, things like that. So we can put turn plates on there. We can put, it is built, I wanted the fuel jugs to go on there, so fuel jugs can go on there, clean that up. Just tidy, it's extra storage space for us. So I wanted to put a floor in there that we could store stuff on. So we'll clean it up and start stacking some stuff on there and see how it looks. And there we go. 2 fuel jugs, 2 extra tyres, bunch of wheel alignment gear, turn plates, pads for the rear tyres when I'm using the turn plates. And then all our tyres up there. Now, like I said previously, they're going on the car. All the jack stands that are currently under the car can go there, where the tyres are. And then we can put a few other things on there as well if we need to. I do want to make up some chassis setup stands, which can also live on this platform too. So all in all, we've got a sweet setup here. Their tyres, fuel jugs, setup gear, Milwaukee pack out stuff all set up there, which is an easy access. And building this actual tyre rack was awesome because I accessed that for different parts. Little things like rulers or things like that. I just knew where they were. So that's perfect. This box down here does have all some spare parts. There are 2 rotors that we need to build up for Bathurst, and then there's a bunch of stuff we need to clean up on the floor. But compared to what this was like previously, it's much, much better. So I've just got to go through that stuff down there, and then we have all this extra space once I cleaned it up over here, which I really don't want to mess up and fill up with garbage. I'd rather keep that clear and make it easy to work on the car. So that's done. I'm stoked. That is a fantastic addition to this workshop. All going well. I'd love to take this to Bathurst just to keep things tidy. I do want to take probably a 3x3 gazebo. I'll put it out the back of the pit just to give some extra space. Put the pack out kit, all that kind of stuff in there. So I've just got it out of the way. It's not going to be not climbing over it to work on the car, things like that. So if I could take a setup to Bathurst with the Milwaukee stuff and that, and have it in a 3x3, I absolutely would. Did the measurements with this setup here, and I still would, in a 3x3 marquee or gazebo, I'd have an extra 800 mil on one side, which is a little bit longer than that space there. On one side of the tent, and then, or on the back of the tent, and then I've got space for tables either side, things like that. So this is the goal. Get that down there, have a nice little setup, organized, ready to go, make life easy. So now it's to move on to everything else we need to do this car. So it should be good fun. We have a lot to do. So next time I talk to you guys, I'll probably be doing some extra stuff to this car. I've got a few other things coming for it that I need to get done. One of the things is I'll need to put a new bonnet on it. When I do that, I'm going to have to probably replace the roof, because I want to replace the hatch, and the sticker for the roof flows onto the hatch. So if I replace the bonnet and the roof, we'll probably do that. If I find a sponsor, we may rewrap the entire car. But that's for another day. Got to get this shed tidied up, cleaned up, and then moved on. But I'm stoked. Really happy with that. My first ever welding project came out like that. Super strong, super stable. The only thing I may have to adjust in the future is the casters on the bottom. But at the moment, they do a perfectly good job. So let's get cracking on the rest of the car. I'll see you in another video and get this car ready for Bathurst in just over 3 months. Let's do it. Bye, guys.
All my wishes and pain, I don't care anymore. Cause all the riches and fame never came at all. Everything that they say is a game, you know. There ain't nobody to blame, let the world explode. All my wishes and pain, I don't care anymore. Cause all the riches and fame never came